Hey there, lovely viewer. Today I want to introduce you to the wonderful world of video game animals. No, not those video game animals. These video game animals. Today I will be reviewing Sly Cooper 2, a simply amazing game that came out on the world's best-selling console that was developed by Sucker Punch Studios. Haven't heard of it? Well, it wouldn't be a Sucker Punch if you knew it was coming. And that's okay. By the end of this video, you will come to know Sly Cooper 2, and perhaps, if the Owl God is favorable, come to love it as I do. If you have heard of Sly Cooper, you might be wondering why I'm not starting with the first game, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Well, I don't like the game. No one wants a 2-year-old's attempt at a clay pot. It's like learning to ride a bike. Your parents want you to fall over a few times to teach you that good things take hard work, while all you learn is the world sucks. Then your parents watch you learn how to ride a bike, and all you realize is that learning is painful. Then you go to school where you're forced to learn useless information for 12 years and wonder if anything is worth it anymore. Wait, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Sly Cooper. The first Sly Cooper is like learning from repeated blunt trauma as you ride into a wall. The second Sly Cooper is when you learn to ride correctly, but you refuse to acknowledge the inherent painfulness of the wall. You're doing it, but you're still going to have brain damage when you finish. The dev team looked at the first game and thought, this is good, but we can do better.
Come on, man.
They removed the linear level design and gave the player more freedom. They took the motto that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and ran with it. The first game was so different from the rest of them that you might as well not even consider them a part of the same series. The only thing that connects them is the story, which I'll be getting to soon. Sly Cooper 2 is about a gang of friends from 3 different species, yes, species, that all feel that stealing is an honorable occupation. They work together to find a good use for other criminals' valuables, like fighting climate change and buying drones. So, basically a retro version of Disney's animated Robin Hood. This is our main character, Sly Cooper. He is Robin Hood if Robin Hood lived in the 20th century and was a raccoon. Steal from the rich, keep it for myself, you know what I'm saying? You might think that casting the main character in a game about stealing as a raccoon is stereotyping. It is, and I love it.
Man, fucking meow!
He is slick, clever, and has the confidence of this guy.
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
He also has the Batman complex. No, not where he is a superhero with amazing gadgets. He has no parents. Because of this, or perhaps in spite of it, he grew up in a parentally challenged environment and still seemed to come out morally ambiguous. He prefers slinking to fighting and enjoys copious use of his forget-me stick. Later in the game, he becomes able to open a portal to Cthulhu's realm for instant trash disposal. This is Bentley, the brains of the team. He met Sly in the orphanage when Alfred forgot to pick Sly up from after-school care. He has a knack for numbers, plans, and fear that makes him perfect as a turtle, since turtles are naturally smart and fearless. He is the only character in the game to naturally use a date drug on his enemies before introducing them to the wonderful world of controlled fireworks. Murray is a hippo. That's it. Stupid, aggressive, and strong. That's his entire character. Well, I guess he is also a bottomless stomach. He's either talking about smashing something or eating something.
Look at all that meat.
Besides that, he is the driver of the team's Scooby-Doo inspired mobile home.
Open the mouth, between the gums. Look out, stomach, here it comes.
He solves his problems like the Hulk. He finds pleasure in punching, body slamming, or throwing anything and everything at his problems. He too grew up at the orphanage with Sly and Bentley. Before we move to the next character, I need to sit you down and introduce you to something. There are people in this world who have an attraction to anthropomorphic animals. They are called furries. Don't ask me why, I don't know. However, part of the reason might be due to this. This is Carmelita, a Spanish fox who has probably inspired more furries than I care to think about. She is a cop who is obsessed with arresting Cooper and the gang. While refusing to admit any feelings she might have for Sly, she instead claims to hate his guts.
Sly Cooper! After him! Cooper!
However, when Sly disguises himself and meets with her, she falls for him immediately.
Tell me, stranger, what's your name?
Why ruin the moment?
I believe this is what's called being a sundeer, if I know my otaku terms correctly. Next there is Neela, the main antagonist of this game. She is as willing to tell the truth as a politician
I double-crossed the Cooper gang, Interpol, and Carmelita.
and enjoys teasing Sly.
Takes a thief to catch a thief?
Something like that. But If I'm going to trust you in this case, I need to know that you can keep up. Literally.
Literally.
Don't fall behind.
She simultaneously helps,
I've learned of a secret entrance leading to half of the Clockwork Heart.
tricks,
Mila, now!
Sorry.
What are you doing?
and fights the gang during the game,
Behold, Kalakla is born!
ultimately coming close to winning. With her being played by a Bengal tiger and wearing very suggestive clothing, it comes as no surprise to say that she gives a whole new meaning to the word.
What do you want?
You know, having just recently played this game again, I have come to the conclusion that the developers maybe had a fetish. Then there's Dimitri,
You think you can swing the bat? Show your bling and let me shine you.
the fashionable failure, Rajan, the seller of spice, the dealer of drugs, the purveyor of powder, you get the idea. Contessa, the femme fatale of hypnosis,
Once I integrate the clockwork eyes into this device, your life's work will be whatever I tell you.
Jean Bisson, King of the North, and Arpeggio, the flightless flyer. The story of our game. If you are into deep, heart-wrenching, and provocative stories, then this is not the game for you. It does have a story, but it's about as complex and dark as a third grader's reading list. Sly is the last surviving member of the Cooper clan, a world-famous line of thieves that stretches back millennia. Early on in their history, the clan made an enemy of an obsessive, giant owl who decided he liked raccoon meat more than mouse meat. His name is Clockwork, and instead of dying like any ordinary villain, he turned himself into a robot so he could continue to hunt the Coopers for eternity.
I'll be back.
Well, anyway, Clockwork had Sly's parents turned into fertilizer while Sly watched. He swore revenge and destroyed the giant metal bird in the first game. However, it turns out a robotic creature powered by hatred is harder to kill than it looks.
You talking to me?
And the second game is spent trying to collect and destroy the body parts of Clockwork after they were stolen and dispersed across the globe. You travel around the world and violently gather Clockwork together in a comically episodic manner. And I do mean comically. The entire game is formatted like a comic book. The cutscene that comes before and after each level is made with still images that may move in a single way. The jokes are purposely corny.
This is the wizard. Do you read me, sitting duck?
This is Peking Duck. I hear you, Blizzard.
No, Sly, I'm the wizard, and you're sitting duck.
I read you loud and clear, Lizard.
My head! Who? What? Is this heaven?
Sorry, pal. You're no angel.
Heck, even the kills are accompanied by a blue or yellow kapow. It's like you're a 1960s Batman in a colorful and friendly Gotham City.
Holy understatements, Batman.
In this game, you will fight against very legal fundraising in France, study Hinduism in India, and find out why Southeast Asia is the spice capital of the world. From there, you will have a personal visit to an internment camp run by a very pretty German widow. Then you will have an extracurricular trip to study the art of war by Sun Tzu and become Ghostbusters in Prague.
It looks kind of, evil.
You don't say.
But it doesn't end there. The gang then goes to Canada and commits a train robbery in the name of justice.
It's time for a train robbery.
Then you very fairly compete in a lumberjack competition. And last but not least, you will become an aviation engineer for a flying city.
That should be the last.
If you haven't figured it out by now, the world of Sly Cooper is a parallel dimension to ours, where Animal Jesus arbitrarily chose some animals to be sentient and bipedal,
I guess the way through the wine cellar is guarded by those rats.
while others of their species weren't. Hey, you win some, you lose some. Stereotypes are heavily played upon here. The Contessa, for example, killed her husband, is cunning and evil, and is played by a black widow. Talk about on the nose. Each of the minor villains have their own personality, usually with something that has to do with their respective animal. For example, Arpeggio is a small, flightless parrot that's been trying to compensate like those guys who buy the really big trucks. His whole personality is wrapped up in overcoming how he was born. Jean Bisson is a buffalo and is headstrong and aggressive, just like a buffalo.
Oh, he did!
Raj, born into poverty and in constant fear of it, uses his ruthlessness to remain at the top of the drug world.
What is drugs?
Dimitri, an iguana, spent his life trying to fit into high society but was never accepted, so he turned to crime to get revenge. The game climaxes with a one-on-one fight with Clockwork ending in Paris, and tragedy. Wait a second, those are the same thing. I think many people would say that a game that plays on stereotypes and does it knowingly is just lazy writing, but I would disagree with them. What I love about this series is that they aren't here to make you think deeply about the esoteric meaning of life. They made this game to be fun and light, which can be seen in the characters. While the game is funny and silly most of the time, the story touches on some visceral aspects without diving deeply into it, especially at the end. Brotherhood is shown when Bentley has to travel the world alone to rescue his two friends. Guilt when Murray carries away his broken friend from the final fight. Perseverance when the gang refuses to give up in the face of certain defeat. And love when Carmelita must struggle between her duty to the law and her feelings for Sly. However, all of these things are done with hope, looking to the future, regardless of where it leads them. Mechanics. What do you say about a 19-year-old game and its mechanics? It's an old game, as a lack of polygons show. Sly Cooper 2 is a stealth platformer, so many of the mechanics involve timing and three-dimensional navigation. Sorry to those of you directionally challenged.
That's the wrong way. Behind me!
Sly is an acrobat who can walk wires like a cheetah runs and land on points as small as Murray's brain. His signature cane allows him to swing like Tarzan and pickpocket anyone unfortunate enough to have glowing pockets. Avoid enemies' line of sight. Click O on anything with your character's face on it, and stay out of the water because...
There must be something in the water!
And if you ever have to ask yourself how to get somewhere, go where you normally wouldn't. The levels are designed to encourage vertical momentum to the point where the game Pavlov conditions you to be nervous whenever you are on the ground. You almost never need to touch the ground if you don't want to. All that aside, it's extremely satisfying to be faced with a particularly thorny area of the map and make it through without alerting any guards. The gameplay progresses in a very linear way. There are 3 stages to every level. Steal information,
An electronic wit!
go shopping, and commit felony assault and mass property damage. Repeat this 8 times and you win the game. What keeps the game fun is the different levels and ways that the game forces you to complete those 3 steps. Sometimes you'll take photos of hypnotic torture to gather intel, or clog a toilet to prepare for the heist. At one point you'll have to blow up a bridge or dance with a cop. You know, after I fed a psychedelic drug to an overworked and trapped elephant, I thought to myself, is this morally right? And then I mentally slapped myself when the elephant's master started throwing lightning bolts like Shazam at me. Of course it's fine. All's fair in magic and drugs after all. You can't be worried about breaking a few eggs when you're trying to hack someone's personal security network, right? Almost take a lot of work after all.
Can't fret over every egg.
Each of the 3 members of the gang have different specialties and participate in different ways. Sly handles the stocking collection services.
Huh? They're gone again.
Bentley the electronic forced entry and explosive encouragement. And Murray make noisy boxes go quiet via percussive maintenance. The combat of Sly Cooper is exceedingly simple. Press square, dodge, rinse and repeat. Honestly, this game isn't about combat, it's about avoiding combat. Sly Cooper is a stealth game that involves staying quiet and out of sight.
Sly, I'm trying to sneak around, but Murray is dummy thick, and the clap of his ass cheeks keeps alerting the guards.
Many of the enemies have a heavy advantage over you because this isn't Street Fighter 4. If the generous invincibility frames don't get you, the auto-tracking firearms will. There are 3 types of enemies: light, medium, and heavy. The light and medium don't pose much of a threat unless you have never touched a controller before or they gather in numbers. Oh yeah, I need to tell you that if you do alert an enemy, they will call for friends, and if you don't run, you will probably find yourself on the wrong end of any number of sharp, hard, or hot weapons. It's like when your average California girl gets their parfait from the seaside restaurant and needs to vindicate their own existence. Don't wait for her to take the picture, break up with her before then. The medium is a bit of a child. When you hit them, they throw a tantrum, which is unblockable and highly annoying. Then there's the heavy. They are easy to find. Taller, wider, generally more menacing, and they carry lights. Yes, lights. Don't be fooled. The light may make them seem easier to beat. It's not. The light is there because the game wouldn't be fair if they didn't have a light to tell you their location. The heavy has more HP and uses ranged weaponry, making him the most deadly.
It's over 9,000!
And don't go thinking that this ranged attack is like any other ranged attack you're used to. No, these guys don't miss. If you alert them, you will be hit. There is no escape.
I could do this all day.
However, if you are sneaky, then you can avoid imminent death. Anytime you are behind an enemy, simply press triangle, then square, and watch your problems disappear. All that said, the enemies are pretty unintelligent. If you get caught, run away for about 30 feet and then hide. They aren't paid enough to care, so they forget you exist after about 5 seconds, just like the only smart goon in animated history.
Somebody in here?
Something wrong?
Nope.
As with any game that came out before speedrunning was a thing and DLCs weren't even a twinkle in Todd Howard's eye, this game has some glitches. Nothing game breaking, but they are pretty entertaining and interesting. Here's the frozen enemy glitch. Don't worry, they are fine, just suffering from anachronistic cardiac arrest, no big deal.
Clear! Clear!
The they can't see me but can still see me glitch. The missing platform glitch. The limp limb glitch.
Bruh, I'm gonna have to level with you. This don't look right.
I feel this one exists as a subtle reminder of the very dangers of copying what you see in a video game. And finally, the you know no one playtested this before it came out glitch.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Overall score. I give this game a score of 8 clockwork eyes out of 10 faked Picasso paintings. If you haven't heard of it, you should give it a whirl. It was an early 3D stealth game and gives a foundation for all the famous stealth and assassin games we know and love today, such as Assassin's Crud and Dis or Die. It's silly, funny, corny, just like you on your first date. If you don't have a PS2 or a PS3, you may have to buy a copy and emulate it. If you do emulate it, buy the PS3 Sly Cooper collection as it has better graphics. That way, if you get the unholy urge to play the first game, you can, though I don't recommend it. Just read up on the story and jump into the second one. I may get flagged for that, but that's what the comment section's for. If you have gotten to this point and are somehow still watching, congratulations, and
I'll be seeing you soon, Ringtail.
If you made it to this point, wow, did you fall asleep and just happen to wake up at the end? But in reality, I hope you like this video. If you think I am worthy, then please hit the like button. Write down whatever you want in the comment section below. Subscribe to me if you think I earned it, and if you think I am worthy of monetary support, I linked my Patreon and subscribe star down in the description. See ya, you filthy animal.